My home is the club. Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with the last seat number 10 with my co-host All Dolled Up from Sharby and our guest Treese from Space Penguin. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi.
Morning, Dashi.
What's up, my man? How you doing?
Chilling like an igloo, hanging out on the East Coast over in Rhode Island. Just good weather. And I'm pumped for this space. I was looking forward to this, man.
Yeah, same. We met in a space. It was I forget whose space it was. Do you remember?
It could have even been our penguin space, but maybe I think I've seen you in a few spaces as well, matter of fact. But yeah, you guys are both always out there in spaces as is necessary in Web3. So it was only a matter of time before this happened, you know?
Yeah,
Perfect
been
timing.
getting into them a bit more and more lately. And they're pretty fun, and I don't have to talk as much as I do on here. So that's very nice. And going over your X account here, so got 4,000 followers, and the account was made in 2021. Was the Space Penguin account originally made in April 2021, or was this another account? And we're like, hey, let's just kind of repurpose it and make it Space Penguin.
I think that this account was repurposed because I actually obtained full control over this account from another original team member who is actually not part of this anymore. But yeah, I think it was a reused account, but I have all the keys and two factors and all that good stuff it's under my email now and stuff like that. So, you know,
Sweet.
it's the slow grow. It's been a while. It's been a journey.
100%. When did how did the idea for space penguins come apart? Was it because of the pudgy penguins, or was it just like took an acid trip
I
one day?
have reason. Oh, sorry. I have reason to believe that it was potentially penguin themed because Space Penguin, I believe it launched right after the Pudgy Penguin craze. I remember when the Pudgy Penguins came out, and I was like, "Oh, NFTs, this is cool," and they blew up to oblivion. So obviously, the penguin theme was there. But yeah, definitely penguins in space was the twist. you know. But
I,
then again, I really will never know because I'm not sure if you know this, but we were actually a CTO from before they were cool.
I
They
did
weren't even
not.
throwing that word around. Yeah, so we took over the whole idea after the liquidity was pulled. We did a main net swap migration to the new contract, blacklisted every malicious wallet. It took a long time, but
I bet.
well worth the wait. And we had a successful relaunch. So yeah,
So the penguin that you had, and what year was this?
this was 2022. Yep.
And when you did that, it was always on BNB, right?
The original Space Penguin, actually, it's still to this day is floating around like a dead coin on the Ethereum chain. Matter of
Ooh.
fact, yeah, pretty interesting. Different ticker too. We came up with a new ticker. Just wanted to separate. We wanted to separate as much as possible, without like affecting the premise. You know.
Yeah. Okay. And they have all right, 2022, the original was on the ETH chain and it's dead now. So I have some ideas for a comic I wanted to write for you guys. And we'll get into that later, but I need to know
Cool.
the Space Penguin, does he or she have a name, and how many of them are there?
Well, dude, these are really good questions. There actually is no designated name for the space penguin that you see in our logo, but we have the space penguin girl now, and we're always building the lore. But there's no doubt that the space penguin colony is vast because it takes a whole fleet to travel through the cosmos. Where with the lore is that we are space penguins traveling through the universe looking for better ways to improve life on our home planet. So it's definitely perfect for a comic, no doubt,
Yeah,
no doubt.
I have a lot of ideas. I picture them being exploring in space, and then the dead Ethereum one they could just stumble upon and be like, "What was this? Are these our origins? Is this our future?" The space girl penguin, is that Polly? Um,
Oh,
the
so I am actually with the space penguin girl in real life. She is my partner.
Oh, okay. Tell her I said hi. The reason I asked because I just saw another penguin group in space, and they were branding themselves as like Polly, the penguin's like girlfriend. So when you said that, I was like, oh, is it like the same one? Or y'all collabing? Um,
Cool, cool. I mean, it only makes sense to incorporate the girl versions of all these things. I think it's
yeah,
totally that's really cool. I haven't heard of that yet, actually. Maybe there should be a collab in the future with the
I
with Polly over there.
we might talk to him next week. Well, we shall see.
Perfect.
What's the
Penguins for the win.
penguin home name? The like their planet.
So this is the thing. This is a good organic combo we're having right now because I have actually not had the chance to dive into these specific details with someone with the lore. I've been dying to actually put together something like what you're saying right now and have more to the background story for the Penguins because they deserve one. You know.
Oh, you got to let me do it. You got to let me. So all dolled up knows that last year I decided to write a comic for daCAT, it's the IP that I own, and they're going to be on VeVe. Do you know what VeVe is?
I do not. I do not. Please pill me.
It's the largest digital collectibles platform in the world. They have high-end
Perfect.
NFTs from Marvel, Star Wars, DC, Lamborghini, Aston Martin, MGM, everything Disney. And they do a lot of volume. There's a lot of eyes on the project, thousands of users per day, and they grossed like 300 something $1,000 this month already. And we have a chance to be on there via a comic book because they do Marvel comics every Wednesday. And
Whoa.
yeah, so like Marvel, they take their entire like stuff that's going to hit the shelves every Wednesday, and they digitize them, and they're just like you could buy like for like $3 or $4 like the actual comic just to read only without having to go to like the comic book store, and a lot of people do that. There's like 34,000 signups on that. But what they also do is they take the really popular ones and they say, okay, we're going to make 1,000 NFTs of this comic book, like, whether common, rare, uncommon, ultra rare, secret rare. So this way they're super scarce, and you could pay like $7 or $10 for one of those, and like the secret rare is like one of 40, so like they're like stupid rare. So they're doing this program where people can write their own comic and draw it, and then they could upload it to there. And I feel like most people they're going to go put it up there, and it's not really going to do much. But if you go in and you sell out, or if you go in and you make a lot of money, then there's a chance that VeVe says, "Hey, let's take some of your characters from this comic and let's do a high-end digital collectible drop of them."
Oh,
So
perfect.
Sharby,
Wow.
yeah, so Sharby was able to go in like right away, be like, "Hey, can we be in your comic?" They're like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." Um,
Hey, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well done.
and
I just took some notes on that, matter of fact.
yeah, so I started doing it for daCAT, and then other people that maybe didn't have time, like, hey, could we like just be in your comic and we'll give you like some money for it? And I was like, okay, that'll help pay for the art. So we have Crappy Bird, we have Chaos on the Chains, obviously Sharpie's over in there, and then what we want to do is we're like, hey, why is this just us? So we got Ladies on the Soul, and I'm writing their comic now. It's halfway done, and then I have a meeting with, I don't know if you've heard of Toilet Dust, but they
I
are.
think Sharby mentioned it last night. I think we were in the same space. I heard about that. I like the name. I gotta say, I really.
Yeah, so
If
we
that's in.
we might do something there, and what I would love, and because ladies comic is going to be tied into the daCAT, the same story, the same universe, and I would love it if I could get space penguins in there because we don't really have stuff from outer space yet.
My God, this sounds like a fantastic thing.
I know, right?
Like so with me and the team, like I can like relay this info, and if we get like a good concept going on, I can tell them, hey, this is a thing, and they'll be like, yeah, that sounds great, you know. So I don't
Yeah,
have like executive decision over things per se, unless it's like hazardous to the
yeah,
project. I do relay the info to the teammates, but they're super chillaxed and love anyone who wants to be incorporated in anything. So that sounds really good, honestly.
yeah. I can't wait. Like
Yeah.
Shiro, there's someone here from Shiro. They're another cat coin, and they'll be on the app, but they have like their own comic already. So we're trying to do a crossover. We'll see. But yeah, I
Cool.
love this. So you'd like neck like shoulder to shoulder with like Mickey Mouse and Winnie the Pooh and stuff like that. And
I
yeah,
think the comic book ideas, I think blockchain and all these meme coins, especially, are perfect for the comic industry. That's totally a genius idea. So what you're doing sounds not only really cool, but super necessary. So
agreed.
that's awesome.
So I had I got really lucky. Gary Vee was in my hometown. Well, not really where I live in Ohio, the other day, and I got to ask him about just IP and like, hey, what are you thinking? And he said that his V friends and CryptoPunks and Dick Butts and all these guys, like they have to do like a lot of work to become recognizable, same as like Spider-Man, Superman, and it's slow, it's a grind. What's your plan to get the IP of Space Penguin recognizable?
Dude, so here's the sitch. We do have a merch shop live with over 150 products. And it's because the person who makes our merch is it's like this nice merch connect. But the bottom line is that that's part of our guerrilla marketing, is that I just want people to like rock the Penguin merch. Like I have a whole arsenal, like the wardrobes turn into all Penguin. So I'm starting in like the hometown approach. Like I figured like the best place to start would be to get people to see the Space Penguin in my hometown. I already actually wearing this constantly have had many people ask me what Space Penguin is and stuff like that. But that's just the beginning, testing the waters. I live in a college town, so my plan also is to put together like a care package and give people like a little like you know, a sticker, maybe a paper wallet with some starter penguin on it, lots of information about crypto if they do not know anything about it, trying to inform people and stuff and gain awareness through just basically giving away like real products in real life. And I've been talking with Space Penguin Girl, and we're looking for like the perfect places in real life meetups with real crypto people to get like the ball rolling with just being there in person, directly interacting with the Web3 community and Web2. And then, so this is like the perfect step towards those things. I've actually never been on camera before, although I am fully doxxed, which is super cool. So this is it, guys. The first time I've been on camera for Space Penguin, here with the real Randy Chavez and Sharby hanging out. So this is just, this helps too. But yeah, we're taking like a super organic approach. And when it comes to like marketing, we want to, you know, utilize funds for the marketing properly. And we take our time, you know, not in like a super rush or anything. I like to see the adoption slowly, one holder at a time. And hopefully, obviously, one day, especially once the market like really picks up with the bull run and stuff, I think every coin that has strong backing, community, and leadership will see its day, where you see those candles flying into the sky, and you know, then we're gonna hope for like higher floors and just more holders and more. It's like with crypto and the coins that really blow up, it's kind of like a fire. Once you start a fire, it's hard to start, but it's almost harder to put out. So we want to see that flame start to burn, and like things will take their course, you know?
So speaking of green candles, let's get to the token here. We've got I like that you have a like 28,000 liquidity there. That's good, that in case people want to buy. I've seen some projects where like there's like $1,000 in liquidity and you can't buy because there's so little.
Yeah.
So that's good for now. And you have what are the plans to do with it? Because on the top 10 holders percentage, and granted there is a good amount of holders, there's 426 of them, so you have a small but mighty group, but there's 98% of the supplies in the top 10. How much of that is the business development wallet? How much of that is the
I
founders?
think,
What is that over?
oh, sorry. I think so. I'm pretty sure off that number, you may be including the burn wallet. Pretty
I
sure.
probably am. Tell us about the amount, the supply, the burns, and just give us a rundown.
So I wanted to take the coin circulating supply and just literally start right where we left off when we did the migration. So when I minted the supply, I did the same circulating supply that there was originally. And what that meant, after we had the relaunch sale, and then we did a very small airdrop for the OG holders, I wanted to, we had to burn most of the supply. So we burnt about 96.5% of all the coins in circulation.
I
And
see it now.
yeah,
It started off with a trillion, you guys had?
yes.
And there's 36 billion now.
There is 36 trillion left.
Oh yeah. All
But,
right. So you start off with
10 of that is still also for sale on PancakeSwap. So some of that's
oh
also, um, on PancakeSwap, burned forever too. So
Sweet. Okay, yeah. So I see that you guys had burned so much of this. Okay, and when you guys burn it, so now excluding that wallet, so I guess it's pretty fair. How much of is in the top 10 wallets?
probably a decent amount, but I think it's important to note that they're probably I know almost every whale in the top 10 directly, except for like two, realistically, just to be transparent. And most of the whales are actually on the team, or they're like diehard penguins who are holding just diamond handedly or
Yeah.
diamond finned, it's or diamond flipper, however you want to put it. But I was actually really impressed with the penguin community and holders. Shout out to them because it's not has not been like the easiest year. The hard part for projects actually starts after launch when you have to continue to build
Yeah.
and show and prove and come up with organic marketing and spend money on marketing and stuff like that, you know? So shout out to them for holding like diamond handed people. I'm really proud. And when we did the relaunch, I made the sale so that we did a relaunch sale so that we could fund the pool on PancakeSwap. Burned it all into the PancakeSwap. We raised about just over 20,000 for that. So I think it's really important to note that after our launch, we actually never dipped below relaunch sale price. So anyone who actually participated in the relaunch is not down on their money. I know a lot of companies, obviously, or a lot of coins will pump and then
Yeah.
dump below their launch price. So I was really, really pumped that the mathed on that liquidity pool.
Hey, there's Space Penguin Gal. Meow, meow, meow.
Hey.
So are there, so that's the only way to get it now, right? Is by, is on PancakeSwap?
Yep.
Okay. Is there any stuff like, hey, if you guys come up, because you have so much merch, it's like if you guys come up with a really cool idea or a really cool like logo or a really cool drawing, is there a chances to like win some in like the various contests that you have? Like, yeah, we'll give out prizes of penguins.
Absolutely. And actually, this was slept on. I got to say, this was slept on. A couple months ago, we actually were giving away free merch, and there was no limit because I just kind of like I was going to cut it off at some point, but not. I wanted more people to actually participate in that. It is now ended, but I had a good solid handful of people from the community. They did get free merch. They had to buy the merch. Then, when they got the merch in the mail, they posted a pic on social media with their thumbs up like this, and I sent them back every penny that it costed them for the merch in Penguin Coin.
Oh,
So
that's dope. That's
yeah,
cool. That's
yeah.
really cool.
I kind of just like thought of it out of nowhere, and I was like, "Hey, this could work."
Yeah, that's a really good idea. So how
I
much was
recommend
raised
it.
on that?
Not too much. Probably a couple $100. No big deal. So
Yeah.
50% of the funds from merch go to marketing, and the other 50% we donate to our current charity beneficiaries.
Yeah. So, oh yeah. So let's talk about that. I saw that when I first met you guys. I saw that you were doing. There, I think it was a food bank or one of two food banks, and people got to vote. And I forget which one I voted for, but I commented like, "Hey, next time, can you guys go and donate to Best Friends Animal Society?" And you just like immediately hit like, "We already did," and I was like, "Oh my god!" So yeah,
Yeah, dude,
tell
that
us
was
about the.
awesome. I was pumped that you said that because we had literally just donated to them on May 1st. So I was like, Randy knows, he knows something.
Yeah, I love so how do you pick the charities? How do you go in and
Here we go. So the whole premise behind Space Penguin and why we are, in my opinion, one of the top charity coins in the world is because we created the contract to facilitate the use case of donating, but we didn't want the team to pick the donations. I wanted it to be up to the world. So we have a submission phase for who you guys would like to see us donate to next. And then from those submissions, we audit them to make sure that they are not controversial, like really, really controversial, or scams, or just like terrible charities. So we don't want to like donate to like a scam, obviously. Then we have a voting phase based off of the submissions. So you don't even have to be holding Penguin to submit a charity and then vote on it. the concept is that even if you don't have money, but you would like to see a charity of your choice get donated to, we'll do it for you. But you just have to participate in the submission phase and the vote. So we're always going to have an organic reason to have announcements. You know, a lot of coins, they may force announcements here and there. No issue with that. You know, you got to grind and move. But no matter what, where we stand, there's always going to be the submission phase. There's always going to be the audit, and there's always going to be the vote. So we have a reason to exist, basically. That's like the whole premise for like the tokenomic side.
Yeah, I love that, the profit with a purpose. So again, I definitely want to go in and help y'all here. The Ladies on Soul has that as well. They have the buy tax, and half of the buy tax goes to, you know, their sanctuary. I was like, all right, that's really cool.
Cool, cool. I say more cherries, the merrier too. Actually, that's the cool part about being just in Web3 in general. Like, it's not a competition. I mean, you know, just because there's like a pizza shop in your town, right, doesn't mean that can be the only pizza shop. Everyone loves pizza. There needs to be plenty of pizza shops. I think all the charity coins together, we can save the world. You know, so super important. And I wish the best to all of them. I hope to collaborate at some point as well. If there's any charity coins out there listening, we're open for collaboration.
Do you have any I guess like play fights? Do you go to any of the do you raid any like snow leopard or like seal meme community tokens and be like, you ate one of our children, we're gonna and then raid them because penguins and seals don't get along?
That's so funny. I've actually never heard that. That's a really good idea right there, matter of fact. That's a cool idea. We have not thought of that, matter of fact.
Well, if that
But I
is
like
going to
that.
go into the comic, let me tell you.
Oh, let's go. My guy. I really love the comic idea, by the way.
Yeah, me
Seriously
too.
pumped on that. I'll relay that to the team like directly after this. Or
Yeah,
they're probably listening, but yeah.
yeah. That'd be great. I wanted. There's so much that's able to be done with all the IP and everyone going back and forth. Is there anything that you wouldn't want Space Penguin to do? Like recently, I don't know if you play Fortnite, but the game developers of Fortnite let Darth Vader have AI, and the internet just like started teaching him slurs, and
Oh
he
god.
was just saying them all. Is there
Oh
anything you wouldn't want?
no.
Yeah, is there anything you
I did
wouldn't
not
want
hear
Space
about
Penguin?
that, matter of fact. I don't game too much, but I am definitely familiar, and I have a lot of friends who do games, so that's pretty interesting right there.
It was he made like a tier of like which race was better than the others, and he would like kill his own teammates for calling him daddy. It was like it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
What have video games come to? This was not the same when I was a kid. That's pretty funny, man.
That was great. It was a lot of good times. Um, yeah, I feel like if you guys had um, I don't know what they hunt for. Like, you remember the movie Pebble and the Penguin, like years back?
That sounds familiar because I'm pretty sure. I don't know if this had the same thing to do with that, but don't the penguins? They actually are known to gift each other a pebble here and there or something like that.
Yeah, it's like how they choose mates.
Yes, yes. Is
It's
that
really
what the
strange.
concept is, or
Yeah,
how do they learn that? Like, is it like
I
instinctual?
don't
Like
know.
this rock looks good, or I don't know.
I don't know. All dolled up. You got anything for that? Do you have kids, right? Have they seen that movie?
Yeah, yeah. And it's, I think, who knows, right? I'm sure it's like from long ago and then they teach each other. But I'm trying to think of the movie. I think I can't remember, a newer movie. And then is it with Drew Barrymore? And she gets the pebble at the end, or is it Jennifer Aniston? Trees, Randy knows I haven't seen a lot of movies. So I'm like trying to remember what movie it
Sure.
is, but she gets a pebble at the end. Someone will probably comment the movie I'm trying to think of right now. But all of that lore, I feel like the conversation right now, there's so much that you guys can do, Trees. There's a lot there.
Totally
Yeah.
agree.
Start
Totally
eating
agree.
things,
For sure. Anything to help the lore is definitely key. Keeps people pumped up and interested, and you don't have to buy the coin to be entertained, right? So sounds good.
So speaking of the token, there's a right now you did that ended right with the merch, or if you buy the merch, you get gifted that much in tokens. That's done now.
For now, it is. We may bring it back in the future once we reach a higher market cap threshold.
Okay.
But yeah.
can you talk about goals and other utility for the token?
Of course. So one of the main things that I've been looking towards, I haven't really even talked about this much with anyone, but the bottom line is I want people to have to utilize Penguin for various things. I know that there is the opportunity to be incorporated in some sort of shops here and there who accept crypto as payment. I have a few on my notes who I'm going to contact and see like what it would take to get Penguin to be utilized as a form of payment on specific websites and stuff. That's a broad aspect, but basically my goal is to have the necessity to use Penguin. But you know, whenever people trade, that's when people trade, the more we can save the world. So I'm trying to give people an incentive to trade. I've thought of the other things like trading contests, maybe buy parties, stuff like that could happen down the line. But just stuff like that, you know. Mostly the payments, though. I'm looking really forward to trying to get incorporated with a payment platform. Maybe even like my brother Rico Money Bags from XBX. Shout out to the whole Smart DeFi family. They're like an off ramp for many cryptocurrencies, and obviously I've been waiting to pull the plug on talking to him and being like, hey man, I would maybe like to be one of those cryptocurrencies that can be off ramped through your XBX pay card. So stuff like that, partnerships within the ecosphere where we both help each other out, ecosystem, stuff like
There's
that.
me and All Up interviewed Jin Token from Vault Inu the other day. It was a couple weeks back, and she had mentioned and All Up probably know better, the credit card that you can get, and you can like load up via crypto, and they could add you. Is that possible?
Volti card, yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down.
And you can white label it, right? So it could be a Space Penguin card through Volt Inu.
What?
Yes.
All right.
And
Now
yeah,
we're cooking.
hit me a DM if you're interested in that.
Oh, I will definitely be doing
you.
that. Sounds good. I just wrote that down, matter of fact. Expect the DM from me later today. Appreciate you.
I've just been introduced to Calendly. Do any of y'all use that?
Amazing. Yes.
Because this is my normal calendar and it's all kind of messed up. So now Calendly, but now I can't like connect the two. It like wouldn't connect. I was like, oh.
Are you just trying to integrate your Google Calendar with Calendly?
Yeah.
Yeah. I figured it out. It took me a minute, but what's really stuff like I was talking about this in a Spaces last week that I was on because, you know, we use the Gitbook for explaining our entire ecosystem, and Gitbook is, you know, it's utilized for like usually technical analysis, right, of projects or companies use it. And we utilized it to our advantage for Sharby just because we have a vast ecosystem. There's also an application out there called Trello. And really the calendar app and the Trello board, you can utilize these, even the free versions, and they're really beneficial for projects, especially in Web3. So I like that you have discovered that, Randy, because even StreamYard, like the fact that we can have our faces when you're scrolling X right now and we're streaming to X and to YouTube. Really beneficial for projects. People see this screen right here and they stop on X and, you know, they engage and okay, what's this? Or, oh, there's faces. Usually it's a space with a bunch of PFPs. And so just capitalizing on those different platforms. We are not sponsored by Calendly, Trello, Gitbook, or StreamYard, but perhaps in the future.
Correct. There's maybe one day we'll take some, let you know.
Never know.
Right.
You never know.
Right now, we're a clean space with no ads. Although every now and then, I don't know why, in my comments, like I'll just do it. I'll accidentally hit the $sign on and it in the comments. It just like, check out my new StreamYard thing with a $10. I don't mean to do it. Like I did it now just to show you, but it's like right when I'm scrolling and it's like, oh man. So I sometimes hit it multiple times per episode. I don't mean to.
That's a clever advertisement for them right there. Gotta love that type.
Yeah.
It's like when you're going to click, you know, like a banner will pop down on your phone and you'll be like scrolling X and you'll like go to like another app.
Yeah.
All the time.
That like they know exactly the amount of seconds that you're gonna hit. Like, oh, the X just moved to where I was gonna put my thumb.
They really
I
do. They
hate
really
that.
know. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how much research went into that. Like they 1.2 seconds before they hit here, and we have to move it this much.
Yeah, like whose
Like,
job is that? Like someone out there is like, we have to calculate between which time we will get them to click the scam ad.
yeah, and that'll make sure I never buy anything from that place. Like, so they
Really?
might get more clicks, but I will never buy anything from there if it does that.
That's the other shiesty part about companies that offer the ability to have ads in that manner. The clicks you're getting aren't for people who are interested. It's just a click. You're basically just buying clicks. So yeah,
Advertising's a weird world.
truly
Strange.
bigger than ever these days. This it moves quick. Never
There
would have
was
seen this
a
coming.
I forget what it was. It was, I don't know if it was telepathy tapes. There was some type of uh they tried to like enter a person's dream or like manipulate the dream, and they did like they were able to talk to this girl, and then while she was sleeping in some weird way, and then she had woken up and said, yeah, I was dreaming about this X, Y, and Z and all the stuff they were like talking to her about. And then
Whoa.
I forget which retailer it was. They're like, can we buy ad space in like people's dreams? I was like, are you kidding me?
Oh my. Oh wow. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Monetize everything. Monetize everything.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I would picture that, like Mr. Beast doing something like that. I'm gonna go to sleep for 7 days, or whoever can sleep the longest.
That's so funny. He should do that. But that's
And
also, it sounds like a episode of Black Mirror. I don't know if you've seen that, but
yeah, love Black Mirror.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I've only really seen like 6 episodes, but the ones I've seen were pretty great. Really trippy.
Always trippy. Definitely trippy.
So as far as advertising before, you talked about, hey, if you take a picture in your Pengu stuff, that's really cool. Have you taken a look at some of like the Gen Z type of advertising on like TikTok and what they do?
TikTok is something that we are trying to infiltrate more so. We do have a TikTok, but I just feel so disconnected from the app, and like I personally have never been able to like scale it properly. So we do have plans to like seriously increase our presence on TikTok for sure, and that's definitely, I mean, there's no doubt like that's what Gen Z's doing mostly. So you're correct. As a millennial, I feel a little far off and a little lost with specific apps that are newer, but there's no doubt that TikTok is seriously crucial in free advertisement, even paid. So yeah, definitely looking to do more of a TikTok campaign. And I know they do like a bunch of like, there could be like a penguin dance, or we could do giveaways, stuff like that. So
As far as the Gen Z stuff goes, and none of it makes sense. It's all crazy. Like, do you remember the marketing campaign for who's the purple character from McDonald's?
Grimace.
Yeah. Do you
I
remember
don't know
seeing
why I
those
know
videos?
that.
The grimace shake.
Yeah, all of that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, because my kids wanted it, all of them. And then it was so bad, but it was all just the marketing, right? Like you had probably hundreds of thousands of, I don't know, mine are all, young teenagers, 13, 14, 15. But yeah, I remember it just because you couldn't miss it.
But do you remember like the videos that people made?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. All right, hang on.
But I knew about it. Were they
I'm
bad?
good.
Were they good?
They were amazing. And let me
Okay.
my card.
Entertaining.
All right, let me.
He's going to find one for us.
Arnold, happy birthday, Grimace. We're gonna try this. And you just cut that shit. Bro, this is not even that bad. Like, I think those TikTok videos are like fake.
So it's all about like you like insulting the grimace shake, and then like he kills you, and then like you die. And I'm not saying space penguins should like go unaliving people, but I think something in that area of just shock value is what'll get the
For
kids
sure.
in.
It only takes one brilliant idea when it comes to like the whole like you know, trending thing on multiple apps. Like, you know, you strike gold once, get that million views or whatever happens, you know, try to incorporate your brand into the next big fad. That sounds like definitely like the dream for ads, especially free, you know.
Or even something like back in the day, like there was and you'll probably know the Arthur cartoon with the anteater aardvark or whatever, and like nobody cared about that for like 20 years until like his fist became a meme. Do you remember?
Yeah,
So
man, that's so funny.
maybe take something from like March of the Penguins and just like insult or insert the a space penguin like dive bombing on there, you know, from space. I don't know.
That sounds super funny. I need to get better at like video editing and stuff myself, but there's definitely people from the community who come through with some dank memes and gifs sometimes. So we have a small stockpile of like some decent ones, but I think I'm gonna do like another contest soon because like that's a good way to get like those organic videos uh, and participation from the community. So
Yeah.
it's been a minute since we did a competition like that, and what those competitions are how I got most of my penguin meme stockpile. So I like to see what other people create. I love it. So if people make something to do with penguin, you're gonna get like a repost from the accounts, and we'll shout you out and stuff like that. So you know, all that good stuff.
That'd be great for the comic too. Like say, hey, whoever draws the best stuff, we'll give you a you know, you could draw the comic, and then this way, because like comics, they take so much money for the artist to do. So that's what Ladies on Soul is doing. They're just having a competition for whoever draws the best. They get to draw the comic, and then their name will be over on VeVe as well.
Win, win, win. Multiple people win. That's the best type
Yeah.
of giveaway is where both parties are satisfied. So that's pretty
Great.
cool.
What other projects were you into before Space Penguin? What other stuff did you invest in?
Oh man, oh man. I hate to say this, guys. I flopped Gen Wealth a few times since I started trading in 2017. I used to play around with like hundreds of thousands of Doge like it was nothing. Uh, I did the math. For one VPN that I use, I actually ended up, it was only $3 a month. Catch this, used to pay in Doge. Same $3. Uh, it was actually it'd be like $2,700 a month now that I was paying it because I got into Doge at like the very, very bottom. I freaking trade a lot of coins that I like to day trade and macro long-term hold. There's like the fine balance between like playing the hype off of something that's like actually in play or just knowing that something is undervalued and holding long-term. So I dabble with both, but I've seen a lot of crazy runners. I was part of like Bonk and the Bonk airdrop, and then I watched it go like all the way down to the all-time low, and I like didn't scoop any, and it ended up being like 1,000x. So for those who do not know, there are 1,000x's in crypto, man, but don't worry if you miss them because that's what we're here for. This is where the opportunity lies. I've seen it more times than enough to know that we will see these type of runs again. So these days I try to get in early on things that I think are totally slept on, like Penguin.
What's aside from Penguin, what do you think your best play is this coming bull market?
Okay, so I'm gonna drop some knowledge. For one of my macro long-term plays, absolute never selling, holding offline forever. Monero, XMR. I don't think we've seen no one builds on it. People hate on it like they used to hate on Bitcoin. And I think that the utility has to be used. When I see a coin that I know people are going to have to use, I bag it because people utilize it, price go up. So I'm banking on that pretty hardcore. I'm stacking it to the moon, Monero. And, you know, I'm into the classic coins too. Like, I feel like we're going to see like a classic coin season, like a nice fossil coin season eventually. Like I would like to see like here's the sitch. Even like Litecoin, it's not like necessary to exist, but is it? Like it's the fastest coin for me to transfer and the cheapest right now. So to me, that's like a really utilizable coin. Same thing with Doge, obviously, but I mean that's why I started using Doge in the first place before Elon even heard about it. Like obviously, I was using it to like pay for things because it could be bought really cheap, and then it would send instantly. Well, it used to. Now that the network is a little more clogged than it used to be, but it was super cheap. I was like, and then that was back when I didn't stick to my rules. Everything that I use, I must buy and hold these days. So that's like my rule. If I use it, I hold it.
That makes sense. Yeah. If you use, I think I forget who had the Fire Stick. It was my friend Dan's like, hey, I buy this stock because I use it all the time. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So so Monero is like the safe play. It's in the top 30. It's number 28, $6 billion market cap. Understand the safety. What's your like 1000x degen play where it's like, hey, this is gonna go?
Other than Penguin, here's the sitch. I actually do. I have a bag of Giga Chad. Shout out to them. Their market cap is 200 million on a good day. And when you get these coins that have already seen some slight mass adoption, the team is still there. The community is obviously very, very large. They have a ton of holders. 200 million is a good entry to maybe get that solid 10x, and hopefully 100. I could see Giga Chad trading at 20 billion at the all-time peak bull run. So I'm banking on 100x there, But I don't throw in too much, Don't go and sell some stuff just because I don't buy anything because I told you to buy it. Everyone don't buy anything because anyone tells you to buy it. You got to do your own research in this Web3 game. Fall in love with the coin, buy a little bit, then buy a little more, DCA, all that stuff,
So in the macro, what do you think the Fed does in June? Do they cut rates? Do they keep it the same? Do they go in and I think Trump wants to fire Jerome Powell because he's just not playing ball. But what do you think happens there?
I have to say, I really don't have that much knowledge on like rate cuts and all those lingo. I stopped paying attention to stuff like that after I used to trade like penny stocks on the American stock market back in 2017. And then right when I stepped into crypto the same year, all that stuff kind of went like out the window, and I haven't really been paying attention. But what do you think actually from like the outside opinion? I don't know. So like, what are you thinking for the rate cuts?
It seems that Powell said in statements, this trade war is not good for inflation. It'll cause inflation to go up. And he's right if it were to last a long enough time. But over this past weekend, you've had like 5 days. You've had like $2 trillion worth of deals done from the Middle East. Like Trump went there and they loved him. They respect him. They had a whole marching band play YMCA for him out there.
Oh, cool.
So they freaking donated like the next Air Force One to the United States Defense Department. So it's very, in the trade war with China, that's going to resolve as it resolves itself. But why Trump went to the Middle East is because over the last decade or so, China spent like $200 billion in the Middle East. And now he takes $2 trillion and brings it from the Middle East to the US. And that is such a power play move. That is such a good 40, regardless of love him or hate him. And I got like Joe Biden yesterday just was announced he got diagnosed with prostate cancer. I hope he gets good treatment. I hope he gets better because I want to I'm sorry, one second. Oh yeah, cool. Although I've got to step away for a minute, she'll be away from keyboard, but she'll be back. Yeah, so I wish the best for everybody, but this is just such an amazing move. And over in that area, you have access to a couple billion people, like from like out in the Southeast Asia, from that Middle East. It's a big power play move, and I think what Trump's doing is if he can get these deals signed, and a lot of them are, then what Jerome Powell says, like, okay, you see the trade war coming to an end, they'll cut rates. You have like $6 trillion in money market accounts ready to rip into the market. And is most of that going to go into crypto? No, but will a good amount, will like 10% go into crypto? Absolutely. And as you've seen on your chart, I've seen any chart, like daCAT. So daCAT a month ago was like a $400,000 market cap, up 250% in the last 30 days. and we're at like 1.5 million. Like $1 million wasn't added to daCAT. It's the fact that there's a certain amount of liquidity, people chomp at it, and then it goes up just from that. So you don't need to add. When you add $600 billion to crypto, and a lot of that's going to go into Bitcoin, and people will cycle out. Like there's so much freaking money, and that's just from money market accounts, not including retail. I saw a post like 2 weeks ago where it was an interview from 2013, and this guy was talking about like mining Bitcoin, and even though the video was from 2013, the people that were commenting on it were from 2 weeks ago, and they're like, I still don't get Bitcoin. Like, yeah, it's stupid. And that's like, so like clearly retail's not in, and the FOMO is not. I feel like I'm autisting out over here. I think we get a massive spike in the summer. I
agree.
And then that'll flow into alts, and we're just gonna. So these 1,000Xs that you're talking about, are, I don't want to say they're not gonna be the norm, but you'll hear multiple projects doing 1,000X. Some legitimate, that they have revenues, they have businesses, and their earnings are great, and some are just going to be like a Giga Chad or like Space Penguin, like to the moon. And yeah,
exactly. And just to note on what you said, I like I kind of like whether the tariff was good or bad, or the whole trade war. I have to say, I do like how he shook up the market. Like things needed to move around for the market to like resettle, and it just gives everyone like the chance maybe to take profit on the high, buy more on the low, and just like think, the Dow Jones, it's always been so stagnant. I kind of like to see it doing massive swings and stuff. Like during the pandemic, obviously like the entire stock market like crashed for a good reason. V-shaped recovery, of course, but this time, I'm not seeing any pandemic type level things to keep the market down. I don't see the reason not to go into a massive bull run. I agree. And also to also know and put a little zest on what you said as well, I also think going into the summer, I'm feeling quite bullish. When I look at the charts, and I got this like feeling, I'm getting like a 2017 type bull run feeling. I don't know what it is. I just want to see Bitcoin do the blow off top at 200K, 180K, something like that, maybe even more. I just want to see the real bull run. I don't feel like we've seen that yet. And until we see it, I am bullish.
Yeah, and it's so strange because there's a lot of really good news. Like Jamie Dimon just said that they'll allow their customers to buy Bitcoin. So banks are now essentially forced to adopt Bitcoin for their clients. MicroStrategy just purchased another 7,300 Bitcoin. So they have, I don't know how much. I know it's over 600K.
He's a madman.
Wild. And I think he got the Bitcoin for now a total price of like, the average price is like $69,000. So everyone comment nice down below the 69. And yeah, it's not just him. There was yesterday, MetaPlanet bought another 1,000 Bitcoin worth 100 million. So people are,
man.
And there's some of these like MetaPlanet will know, other major institutions will know, but I'm looking for one right now. It was obviously BlackRock, we know, but there was this one like medical thing, and they were just like, yeah, we're buying Bitcoin. So like it makes sense when Cathie Wood buys Bitcoin because she's been talking about it for 6 years. But when these random like medical insurance companies start buying Bitcoin, like yeah, they're called Basel Medical. Like nobody's ever heard of that, but they just bought $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, and you're gonna have all these companies. Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Bitcoin. I mean, it's still in the middle of true mass adoption. Hasn't even really happened yet. I mean, the Michael Saylors need to acquire serious chunks and then once again redistribute it. Like I just love to see more and more distribution number go up. More holders, more Bitcoin even just lost or burned for whatever reason. That's cool too. Makes it technically Bitcoin is deflationary because people just lose it all the time. Boating accident.
There was something yesterday, like the SEC is trying to investigate MicroStrategy now because they didn't have a real strategy on Bitcoin. Said they were like lying to people. It was like, bro, really?
Oh man.
Yeah, it's insane.
Digging deep.
I don't how do you feel? As I feel like you trade on sentiment. I feel like you're like, hey, how's the market feeling right now? How's it, how are people's psychology? Um, I feel like it doesn't feel like we're trading at 104 for Bitcoin because we were at 107 yesterday, go back down to 102, we're up to 104 right now. But I feel like the emotions in the market make it seem like it's not, like this isn't a great price. Like this isn't like really good and bullish for crypto. I feel like they think and actually it's almost up to 105 now. Um, how do you think people's sentiment is and their psychology in buying?
Exactly what you just said. A couple years ago, if you said, or like I guess like 6 years ago now, if you said Bitcoin was going to hit 100 grand, everyone just hated on you. People, I couldn't even imagine the day myself. Honestly, I was trading Bitcoin when it was 3 grand. What am I doing? Should have been holding way more of that, buddy. I'll tell you that much. But there's no doubt that for Bitcoin being trading above 100 grand right now, and alts not just popping off like fireworks, I agree. I don't think people are feeling the bull yet. I feel like Bitcoin really needs to move upward past 110 and stay up there for a significant amount of time before the true alt season can begin. No doubt, because yeah, you're right. It's just not the same feel. I don't know if like, how do you feel about like Pump Fund? Do you think that was bullish or like bearish? Do you think it hurt the ecosystem or built it more?
If you take a look at the Pareto distribution, where 80%, and this doesn't just work in crypto, it works everywhere. Like 80%, 20% of the workers in any company will do 80% of the work. 20% of the guys in the world will get 80% of the girls. And in crypto, and this is probably even more so, but 20% of the people make 80% of the money. It's probably like 5% of the people make 90% of the money. And Pump Fund just it wrecked so many people because you have anyone. It's made so easy to launch these coins on Solana. It made so easy and people just got fucked. And it happens every cycle. But back in the day, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, there just wasn't that many cryptos, and now there's hundreds of thousands, millions of them, and people are a little bit of knowledge is very dangerous. So it's like, oh yeah, I've heard of Bitcoin, I've heard of Dogecoin, I've heard of this stuff. Here's this new coin called Turtle Duck, and yeah, they have really great memes, and people put in. Hopefully, people just put in what they're able to lose. But I know people that have legit like sold their house and like refinance stuff, and it would be one thing if it's like, okay, I'm going to put it into this token that has a bunch of revenues. They are vertically integrated, and the price doesn't match. Like, let's say like Definity. Definity does hundreds of thousands each month. Their market cap is like $6 million. Stupid undervalued. Not financial advice. They sponsor the channel, but they weren't doing that. They were putting it in these like random. I don't even want to say like KFC's, because KFC is like is a legit brand, but they were putting it in these random things, and it's like, yeah. So I think that was probably a net negative. But at the same time, if you have a couple of people that maybe didn't like take advantage, like they weren't the ones like doing the pump and dumps, they weren't the ones doing the scamming, but they were just kind of neutral players, be like, I could picture this having really good memes. I'm gonna throw 1,000 in there. They make 100,000. Okay, well now you have somebody that kind of knows what they're doing in the market, that has a little bit of ammo, that has a bunch of liquidity, and they could put into legit projects. And the double-edged sword, but I think it probably was a net negative. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I got like the same vibe as even like when people get liquidated on centralized exchanges for using leverage, or like just too much leverage, or just even a little bit during a major crash, only the exchange wins. And then we have one investor who was interested in crypto, but now they're out because they don't have any more money, which is bearish. And that can also, same thing with like getting wrecked on like a pump fund coin or a celeb coin. I still like to have my fun and stuff, but definitely more of a gamble. And it just puts a damper on someone's eagerness to learn more if you get wrecked too quick. Like, to people who do get wrecked, just take a step back, reassess, take your time, learn. And, I don't tell people to like buy crypto, even like in my family. I tell people, if they ask me about crypto, I tell them, don't invest in anything unless you're 100% comfortable with holding it for like minimum 2 years. And never, I basically say, don't use money that you plan on potentially having to use within the next few years or losing completely. So, you know, just to protect them. But hey, I'm coming from a person who I actually gave away my private key in 2017 to an exchange I was part of. I fell suspect. So I was a victim of a scam that seemed these days beyond obvious as a scam. Beyond obvious. These days, I'd be like, oh my God, how could I possibly have fallen for this? But just if you're uneducated and you do not understand crypto, or you're new to investing, you're so excited, you want to win, and then boom, you just give away your private key. So it happens. You gotta be careful out there, folks, you know?
Yeah. I generally I'm pretty skeptic by nature. So which I think is lucky for me, because then I might miss out on some opportunities, but I've not gotten heck like that. So again, someone that's a little bit more open, a little more trusting, people will feel that, be like, oh, dude, such a trusting guy, and give them their flowers, love them, but then that you get wrecked. Yeah, dude, life is hard, man. Well, there's so many little things that you gotta, intricacies, bro. Do you
I totally
have
agree.
kids?
I do not yet. Not yet.
I say, like,
I would like to someday.
I don't know how to teach them any of this shit. It's like, I don't know. Watch My Little Pony. They're good at teaching you what to do. Like I no.
That's awesome. Congrats, man. Congrats. I know there's a lot of people with
Oh no,
families
I
in
don't
Web3.
have kids. Like that's why.
Oh, you don't? Okay,
No,
okay.
if I
So,
would
all right,
ever, no, God no, please, no.
Cool, yeah.
I feel like if that were to happen, it'd be like Michael Scott from The Office, like, no, God, no.
Props to all the parents out there, because juggling Web3 with having kids, I just can't even imagine it because I'm so busy myself. So
Yeah.
for you guys to have kids, people out there who do have kids and manage the Web3 at the same time, whew, flowers
all
to you.
dolled up, and her husband, they have 4 kids, and they're like at the age where they're like 10 to 15, whatever. They still need them to like drive them around places and do it, and that's like such a busy time because they all have like clubs and they all have friends, and I'm freaking out just thinking about it.
Yeah. One step at a time. We'll get there. We'll get there.
We're good. But yeah, I think it would be fun, especially if you have like there's, I don't know if you've seen this crazy whale like 5 days ago had put out like a $270 million long at like 40x leverage on Bitcoin, changed it to 300 something, and then like this morning changed it to like to $500 million, 40x long on Bitcoin.
What?
Yeah,
that's
like,
crazy.
if you have that type of money, you could like hire sitters for the kids. You're chill. But
why even use leverage with that much money? I will never understand. I don't know.
But they gotta know something. Like, I don't know. What do you think about manipulation on the meme side, on the Bitcoin side? What's just your take on that in general, and how?
Totally, very, very manipulated still. I've been very interested in technical analysis since I even started trading stocks. So you can see when you look at the charts and when things start to get fishy, like how things were super choppy yesterday around the 1 week close, the bullish 1 week close. Like there's no doubt that the exchanges know when important things are happening, or if the TA is reaching a very important point where, when you do TA, you can tell it's to give you a better idea of what's going to happen. It's not going to tell you what's going to happen, but it also tells you what's not going to happen. So I just see manipulation all around constantly still, maybe with more regulation, good regulation, and just more mass adoption. Here's the thing, like the entire cryptocurrency market cap is hovering around 3 trillion, including Bitcoin and every altcoin. That's the same market cap as just one of the main stocks, like Amazon or Apple. They're right around the same. So we're comparing like a global financial structure, or like the new gold, to a stock. It just makes me feel incredibly bullish and super early still,
Agreed. I've been watching the price go up as we've been talking for the last hour. I think it started like, now it was like 102, 103. It's up to 105 now. So it's
nice.
Yeah, it's getting
good, because I'm in a trade right now.
Have you ever
Are you winning, son?
Have you gotten into shorts? Like, do you short a position after something rises up like X amount of percent, and then it's like, all right, time to come back down?
Yes, yes, I do look for shorts, but during this time right now, where I know we could be heading into like some serious parabolic bull stuff, I'm super skeptical of putting any shorts in because right now I could feel comfortable riding out like a long, but like if my short went the wrong way, I don't know if it's going to come back.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
definitely would feel way. I'd feel worse about getting wrecked on a short right now than getting wrecked on a long. You
yeah,
know, feeling just like long is the way to go. But shout out to all the traders out there. Everyone has their different method of madness. So just gotta do it the way you do it.
yeah. I have I haven't done a short because I like, God forbid someone sees a short, like, all right, let's run it up his ass, and then I was like, oh man, I fudged up.
Truly, truly,
I
because
would
the
not.
exchanges know. Obviously, I'm skeptical to even set limit orders because I don't want the exchange to know my intentions. It's like chess. It's like giving away your next chess move. I know limit orders can be crucial for like trying to get in, but like you don't want to use them the wrong way, because they know and they're playing against us.
Yeah.
So
My a buddy of mine has a couple options for Bitcoin. One expires late May, one expires early June, and he did it, I think, when Bitcoin was at like 95, 97. So he's up on it, and he's like, yo, if it goes to like 120, I would make like 50 grand. I was like, damn.
what? Let's go.
Yeah.
It's
So I
risk
was
and
like,
reward, risk and reward.
yeah. I was like, damn, get it.
It only takes one big win like that to keep playing too. Sorry to cut you off.
oh no, you're good. Dude, I get that. I love gambling, and I get that in like casinos, we'll be down like a couple hundred. Well, I should stop here, but if I just get one win, I'm back to even, and it's like that's how it can get you, bro. That's how it wrecks.
It's true. I don't chase losing positions anymore. Like I try not to average down ever. If you ever take a L, not financial advice, but like if I'm gonna take an L, I'm like, all right, I was wrong, but now I save the rest of my capital to recuperate instead of like nothing worse than I've done this in the past too. The averaging down on a long, and the market just keeps crashing, and there really is no hope after a certain point. You didn't have to waste any more money once you were wrong the first time. So, you know,
Yeah. I mean, I definitely understand that. Don't throw good money over bad, because if a company's on its way out, it's on its way out. But I also think, like, hey, what if a company's like continuously building? What if they have these insane announcements and these things that they've publicly announced, but so there's a company called DEVVE. It's the fastest layer one blockchain ever. Can do like 8.8 million transactions per second. They have this crazy sharding technology. They just and like the price went from, because yeah, like in January everything was up, and then the trade wars happened, then everything went down. So it went from like $1.80 and it's down to like 50 cents now. But like they're still building, and they have this massive exchanges coming out later this year. They're giving like 60% of the way of the trading fees away to everyone. Link down below. They are, but like for something like that, I'll do. But I
yeah.
agree, if there's, how do you determine when something's dead? Like outside of the CEO just like walking away,
Well,
how do you know?
probably just to go back. It's like I wouldn't average down on a leverage trade, but if you believe in a company that you do not, if you don't use leverage, I mean, you can't lose technically unless they literally go to zero.
Mm.
So maybe if you really believe in the company, sure, if you're not going to get like liquidated and you're banking on the company still working and pushing through, for sure. Yeah, DCA, that's totally cool. I agree with that totally. But more so for people who want to like totally degen out and like do like a 10x levy play, probably wouldn't average down on that because just it escalates so quickly. You can just end up so down with leverage. So, but hey, that the bonk, I should have averaged down on that. No levy. Would it be up 1000x right now?
Oh.
Woo! Name of the game.
Yeah. I back in the day, I was like huge conspiracy theory guy. Like I was like, it was 2000, like, I don't know, like 2009. I'm watching these like 9/11 videos, and I get into like Alex Jones. And then one of the things that he said was like, get into gold and silver because the dollar is going to go down. And so I wound up, I became like very libertarian. And there's this thing called Pork Fest. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
is short for Porcupine Freedom Festival. And I was like the minority there that had like dollars. Everyone was using bits of like silver, or they were using
What?
Bitcoin and Bitcoin and Dogecoin in like, this was 2014. And I remember I was like, oh, that's really cool. They're not using the dollar. They're using, all of this is done off of silver, Bitcoin, and Dogecoin. But at the time, like Bitcoin had went to like $900, and then it was back down to like $500. I was like, it probably did its run. I shouldn't buy any. And I could have got Bitcoin at that price, or I could have got Dogecoin at whatever it was in 2014. And bro, that was my biggest regret.
Happens. Hey, if you don't give up, you will see your win. That's what I say.
Yeah.
That's why we're still here building.
Preach. On that end, is there at a certain point where, let's say the IP goes nuts, we have this crazy bull run, and you guys are, you have a couple $1 million market cap, where do you take off profits? Where do you go in, and how much do you save for future generations? Like, hey, maybe this could be the next, like, Mickey Mouse or whatever, and you just, how much do you save for your family? How much do you save for right now?
For Penguin, or just the whole portfolio?
I was gonna say Penguin, but yeah, whole portfolio. Yeah.
Probably like different between Penguin and the portfolio. Since I am the colony leader, I'm pretty much never going to sell any Penguin ever. I might sell like a modest amount, like nothing close to what I have. I want to retain the top holder. I am in tandem with 3 of the top holders. No one has more. So we have some, it's not supply control, but with very solid foundation amongst people who are part of the team and OG holders. So I probably will sell maybe 10% of my holdings during like absolute face melting greenest candle ever, or something like that, just to actually probably put back into the project, to be 100% real. But for my portfolio long term, someone once said, if you're unsure about taking like a massive gain because you think it's going to keep going up, probably going to sell 50% of everything and literally let it all ride.
Yeah.
Maybe 60% just to pay taxes. Really good. But you never want to let too much ride. I've round tripped enough bags to also I've round tripped stuff, so that's not fun either.
I feel you.
Yeah,
So on the token side, so how much is in the business development wallet for the token? Do you like, yeah, we have like 5% of the token in there for business purposes?
So we have about $1,000 worth of Penguin, which on a good day was actually worth more like 6,000 at our all-time high. So we're holding on to that for future listings, giveaways. And so we are also a reflection token. So if you're like a whale and we have high volume down the line, once we reach a couple $1 million market cap, that's when the ball really starts turning. I think Sharby might have literally said this yesterday. It's almost like still buying into like the pre-sale, because like there's nowhere for the price to go but up. We're all diamond handed. We just began pumping once again, finally, after a very long downtrend sideways, good capitulation moment, weeded out all the people who weren't going to be here for the longest of terms and stuff like that. But we are a reflection token. So if you hold Penguin, you can also earn Penguin. And we have our development wallet. It receives reflections, and that's how we do our donations. We're never going to run out of money for donations as long as there's volume and as long as the Binance Smart Chain exists. We don't have to extract from our community, and we don't have to have tokens on the side to give away. They're always going to be reaccumulating. And for you guys as well, if you hold Penguin, you earn a little kickback. Obviously, at these levels, it's not much, but we created a working product that is functioning properly. We are able to donate many hundreds of dollars at just a $50,000 market cap. So once we reach once we get back to our all-time high around 400K, that's where things really started getting interesting. So I can't wait to get back to the 500,000 mark. I want to get more listings, more liquidity pools, all those good things lead to further mass adoption. Not opposed to centralized exchange listings and stuff like that. We plan on being incorporated with PawChain. We actually are already saving up to start a pool there. About halfway there to that pool. It might take another 2 months. But we almost pulled the plug. We almost already made the pool and stuff. But I've been talking with the developers. Going to hold off on that for a bit till we have more liquidity for it. But more liquidity pools, and more centralized exchange, more mass adoption, and more people. I'm trying to give people the incentive to trade. Essentially, I want to see the day where, you know, when your coin gets back into play, that's fun because you get to start working even harder. And we're going to try to really, really execute getting that higher floor every time we pump. And so it really is like almost just the whole beginning all over again. We've been here for about 1 year, although we actually did build for we waited 2 years to launch because we launched using Smart DeFi, and it was well worth the wait. But I remember all those days where we weren't even tradable. So it's now I wake up every day like living the dream. I can't believe Penguin's even able to trade. Everything worked out. Everything the team ever said we were going to do, we did it. And we're going to continue to build, even though hypothetically we technically don't even really need to. It works. It's a working product, and people are it almost is going to sell itself. But obviously we're going to continue to work and expedite that process. So, you know.
I love it. So you have in the business development wallet, you have the Penguin tokens. Is there anything that's on the balance sheet that like, hey, we have ETH for other things or other expenses?
So when it comes to Smart DeFi, we have something called asset backing. I heavily recommend looking into this for anyone out there who may be listening, who wants to do like a community takeover with a migration, or anyone who wants to create a new coin where you can actually add utility through reflections. You can use the Smart DeFi Launchpad very easy. You have a bunch of developers at your whim. They'll answer you within minutes, no big deal. They helped me massively. So they have something called asset backing, and it means that we have actual BNB coin attached to our supply of Penguin. So when Penguin burns, little tiny bit burns every transaction as well, the BNB coin that is attached to the Penguin coin gets re-released to the remaining circulating supply, and this creates an intrinsic baseline value. So hypothetically speaking, if our liquidity was unlocked and everyone sold, the coin literally couldn't mathematically go to zero because we have the value of the BNB that is attached to it. So yeah, I'm like a super utility guy, and I was really, really pumped on that because I've never heard of it before. So technically we are backed by BNB coin, although at this level it is quite low, but every buy and sell adds to the BNB that is attached to our coin. So we maintain a value that's more than just Penguin. It's also BNB.
So obviously today it's a meh day for BNB. It's down like 1%, not really here nor there, but the market cap of BNB is about 94 billion. And if it gets to when everything starts to run, and even if this doubles, which I expect to more than double, but when it doubles, does Penguin trade at a commensurate rate and that doubles from that as well? Or is it like no, it's like a 2x lever. If it doubles, we 4x.
I think since we trade with BNB coin, when BNB goes up 10%, I think we also go up 10%.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like right tandem. So that's pretty cool. I like being attached to BNB coin. We had the choice between Ethereum, BNB, or Base, and I just went with BNB because it works. And I like the market cap is super high, and just because not everyone uses it, I mean, they're obviously doing something right. So I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon. I'm feeling very confident about the BNB. I think that we may even see some sort of, you know, fossil coin season. BNB comes back. BNB strikes back. You know.
There's a bunch of stuff that happens every year, whether it's non-fungible conference in Lisbon, NFT Toronto, NFT NYC. Where are you at? And you don't have to say exactly where if you don't want.
Oh,
I'm in Ohio.
I'm in Rhode Island.
Okay. Oh yeah, you mentioned that before. Where might we be able to see Space Penguin at an event?
There's like a blockchain Boston event coming up soon, which I was trying to make it to. It was going to be one of the first ones we attempted to go to, me and Space Penguin Girl. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to make it to that one, but it is on the back burner. So stuff like that, like we can travel a few hours to like here or there. I think Boston's like 2 hours from here. So yeah, you know, New York's 4 hours from here, in a pretty good spot to travel between Boston, New York. Not opposed to flying out. We went before Penguin even launched, when we were in the middle of still building. I actually went out to Vegas to meet up with an NFT project I was friends with, and it was a fun time. So just stuff like that is also open for Penguin in the future. In real life events are key. and I cannot wait to. This is really cool what we're doing right here. I don't often get the ability to talk to people that are part of the Web3 family, like face to face through the computer. So gonna bring it to the real life, gonna bring it to reality, and hopefully be hitting some in real life events soon. Merched up, looking like a penguin, you know.
So not NFT NYC, but New York Comic Con, I go to every, and the reason I go is because VeVe has a booth there. Usually with Marvel, but they had their own booth this year, which was cool. And it's just the two that I saw that were into NFTs that had lines around them the whole time was VeVe and Tokidoki. Do you know Tokidoki?
I've not heard of them.
They're like I never heard of them either. They're like these little horses, like they're little like porcelain like horses, and some are like water based, some are they're wild, they're crazy. It's like, oh, this is like a little girl's dream, but like and they're big in Asia, but like a bunch of people love them. And those are like the only two at Comic-Con that I've seen that were into NFTs that had like lines around their booth.
Cool.
So I was like,
cool.
But yeah, would love to have you there. See you there, or Vegas. We go to every year for Designer Con, so that's really cool.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Actually,
Yeah.
I love Vegas.
Oh, same.
What was the first one you mentioned again?
New York Comic Con.
Okay, perfect. These are all things I would love to do in the future.
Apparently, Space Penguin's 6th charity beneficiary is the Rhode Island Food Bank. Good for y'all.
Yes, this is true. They just won our last vote, our last voting process, which was cool because obviously I am in Rhode Island, and that wasn't even my submission. So I was like, cool, that works. And you know, for the submissions with the charities, just on a side note, I would like to see every charity that's ever been a part of our roster see their day to be paid out. As long as we exist, we're going to be able to get through this list, and I'm sure everyone. If your charity doesn't get picked one time through the submission phase, submit it next time. Good chance it will get picked. You know.
Yeah, there's So I guess when this does take off, whether it's from Penguin or your other crypto, do you stay in Long Island or Rhode Island? Do you invest back into the town that you're in, or you'd be like, I am out of here. I am going to where the better people. I don't know where the better people are, but do you move? Do you stay where you are? What do you do?
I'm in a pretty good area, and I grew up in this town, so I think I would like to actually get some real estate at least near here, within like an hour or something like that. But I'm not opposed to. I've been thinking about maybe looking for some small towns between Rhode Island and New York. I'm sure there's like a slew of nice little towns near the beach and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm kind of interested in definitely exploring the world. Probably going to go like do some like recognizance and maybe do some Airbnbs before like actually pulling the plug on like maybe buying real estate somewhere that I'm not like used to. I'm a believer that you get what you pay for. So I'm not trying to like downsize or anything. And like I like America, even though the crypto regulation can be like, it is what it is, but I don't plan on like moving out of America. I love America. So
yeah. Same. I don't think I'd want to be. I mean, I love vacationing in Europe and the Bahamas, and I haven't gone to Asia yet, but I really want to. But I like American doctors, and I would not want to get sick in any other country outside of the U.S.
For sure. So you're in Ohio. What's your plan for when you make it big? Are you gonna like just move to another state? You gonna stay where you are?
I don't like the cold, so I will probably get a winter home in like Arizona.
Nice.
But Ohio's pretty awesome from like May through November.
Cool.
Yeah, so that would be me. I guess if I'm just gonna eat the taxes. Like it's just gonna suck, but that's just what I'll do.
Yeah.
Originally, I was like, all right, I can go down to Puerto Rico. I can sell my stuff. I could wait X amount of time. I could rebuy it back. But then it's like I didn't want to do that in case, like, God forbid, my shit pumped like while I'm waiting to like rebuy it back. So, but now there's a couple of tokens that might be able to be tax free. Thankfully, if Trump goes in and puts that in, or if tokens, if you're headquartered in Ohio and you bring jobs there, you can get like 10 years tax free. They have these things called like opportunity zones. and for like businesses have like 10 years tax free. I'm talking to a couple buddies of mine about it.
What? That's
And then their
crazy.
token become American tokens, and then this way, their tokens like they suddenly there's no capital gains tax on them. Then that could help them really go freaking nuts.
Whoa. Didn't hear about that. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, and then there's this thing called like Ohio Jobs, where like so I'm like really close to Ohio State University, and it's a massive university. It's a large school, and the Ohio Jobs they have like they give like not I guess like tax credits to these businesses that hire locally, like from Ohio, so they can recruit right out of Ohio State, like some of these developers, some of these coders, and it's just heckin' wild.
Super cool, man. Super cool.
Yeah,
Love it.
this stuff.
Love it.
Anyway, let's do. What do you have left? Because we'll talk off camera for a bit. I don't want to keep you too long. But what else did you have to say before we bounce?
Oh, I'm just glad to be here, man. I want to do more stuff like this. If you ever, well, so we do a space every Monday, 5:30 p.m. EST. Oh, wait, that's today.
I will go to that.
So we're going to be doing that at 5:30, and all projects are welcome. We're super chillaxed. We're not going to bully people off the stage. Like, there's a lot of toxic spaces hosts. Sometimes I fall into the wrong space, and I'm like, what have I done? I chose to be here for why? But yeah, we try to keep it super chillaxed, and we're not mean. So everyone's welcome. So that's a good call to action for people who want to keep hearing about the Penguins and hear about other projects. You never know when the next 1000X is going to roll through that room. And everyone who's listening, you never know when the next 1000X is going to roll through this room with the real Randy Chavez and Sharby, like bosses. So like, I like what we got going on here. The fact that you reached out to me was like super cool. And I've been looking forward to this all week. So thank you both so much for dedicating this portion of your time. Time is not free. So this is a huge blessing for me and the Penguin Squad. And I would love to just have the continued collaboration. Any way we can work together. We can talk about the comic book stuff and just
we'll talk about that right now, organic, right on camera. We're gonna.
Perfect.
So yeah, I have a meeting at 2:30, meeting at 4, and then I put you in the calendar. I will be on your space at 5:30. Can't wait. Everyone go give them a follow, both Space Penguin and the Space Penguin gal, and I will catch you all later. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Okay, where's that? Bye-bye, Dashi. All right, there. Okay. We're learning here today.